Hey FM Transtastic, my name is Luke, and this week, well, last week's topic is the pros and cons of medical transition. When I first saw this topic, my thought was, are there any cons? I don't think there are any cons of medically transitioning, or at least there weren't for me. And so I watched Emil's video with Christian, and I watched Chase's video as well. I wanted to hear what they had to say. A lot of the things that they thought were cons weren't really cons for me, or didn't really relate to me. So I still felt at a loss of what the pros and cons about medical transitioning were. And then I was kind of like, oh, well, I don't know what to say. I'm really busy. I'm like, I just won't upload this week. And I'm trying to stop myself from doing that. Last night, I had a bit of an epiphany, and I realized what I wanted to talk about. First of all, for me, the pros of medical transitioning, there are too many. Medical transitioning wholeheartedly 100% saved my life. Even knowing that medical transition was obtainable for me, or that it is obtainable for me, has made my life so much better. You know, even for example now with phalloplasty is 4 months away as of yesterday, and I've been able to get so much done this year that last year I just could not do because I was too dysphoric and too depressed, and I felt like my life wasn't going to be able to progress. I felt like I wasn't really going to able to move forward, and I felt like I was stuck. And I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. Waiting for surgery, waiting for tea, waiting for all these sorts of things. Waiting for medical transition is probably one of the hardest things. And I guess you could say that's a con. You know, it takes a lot of money, it's a lot of time, it's difficult to get to. But I don't really want to focus on that in this video because I realized something last night. And this is going to sound super depressing, so bear with me while I explain it. Basically last night, I was looking at my little brother. I thought, I wish that I was able to grow up as a boy like you. I wish that I was able to not have to worry about surgeries. I wish that I was able to just focus on my life. I wish that, you know, I'd be taller. I wish that I had, you know, bigger hands. I wish that I was born cis. It made me realize that as much as medical transition can get you to a place where you are yourself, and as much as I don't wish I wasn't trans, and I'm grateful for the experiences that I have, I don't know if medical transition will ever be enough, because medical transition can't give me back that time that I lost, and can't give me back all of the things that I missed out on, and all of the things that I wish that I could have had. It's a weird thing to think about. I'm at the point in my medical transition now that, you know, I'm coming up to 4 years on testosterone. I've had top surgery 3 years ago. I'm having phalloplasty. I've had my hysterectomy. Like, my medical transition is nearing to an end, and I've spent the past 4 years living as male and living as myself and living, you know, majority of the time as stealth, just as a guy. And that time, this time that I have now as me, isn't more important than the time that I had when I was perceived a certain way, or I was unable to medically transition. And the person that I was that person who was unable to medically transition. So I am grateful that I had those experiences, but I don't know if dysphoria will ever completely go away. I don't mean, you know, crippling dysphoria that, you know, makes me need to have surgeries or makes me need to do these things. But, you know, every now and then I'll have a feeling of dysphoria about something that isn't necessarily something that consumes me. You know, little things, like, for example, my nipples are a little bit too big. And so I see a cis guy who has a flat chest and their nipples are just smaller. And my chest is super close to that, but it's not that. And sometimes I get a little pang of dysphoria about that, even though it's not really significant, and I don't have chest dysphoria, and I wouldn't say I have chest dysphoria, and I wouldn't class it as crippling dysphoria, but it's still dysphoria. It's still something that I have to deal with. Don't know, no matter how much medical transition can be done, I don't know if there's any way I can ever feel that way, because at the end of the day, I am not cis, and I've accepted that. I've come to terms with that. I'm not angry about being trans, and I don't have this ideal body standard that I'm trying to obtain. It's just more the fact that I'm not cis, and I don't think my dysphoria is ever going to completely go away with that, because there's no way that it can ever go away, because I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be a cis guy, ever. And even if I were to wake up tomorrow with a cis male body, that would cure, you know, a majority of it, but I still grew up the first 14, 15 years of my life being perceived as female. Those experiences have shaped me, no doubt about it, but they aren't that of a cis male, and I won't ever have that. And that is a little bit upsetting. And I guess that's probably my only con of medically transitioning, that it can't do more. But at the same time, I don't know if I want it to do more. Because as much as the dysphoria is upsetting, and as much as it's difficult to deal with, and as much as, you know, I've been on hormones for 4 years, I still stress about my voice sometimes, and I still feel like I'm too short, or I feel like there are all these things that I wish I could change about myself, and I wish I could change about my body. I don't know if I'd sacrifice those little things. Then, in the great scheme of things, don't cause me too much distress. They do cause me distress, but not enough distress that, you know, I'm depressed about the fact that I'll never be cis, because that's unrealistic anyway. But they're still there. They're little things that I have to deal with. But I don't think I'd be willing to get rid of those little things at the cost of being someone that I'm not, and going through life as a person that I'm not. Because as much as I wish that I was born cis, and as much as I sometimes idolize that, because it's something that I've never going to experience and I never have experienced, and as much as I want that, and I wish that I could have that, and I do feel jealousy, and I feel dysphoria about the fact that that won't ever happen, I still like the person I am. And I still don't want to not be me, if that makes sense. So you can see it as a con, you can see it as a pro. Like a lot of these sorts of things, you know, it's not black and white. There's no hard, definitive pro and con, you know. There are some things that matter to some people and some things that don't matter to other people, and some people might not feel the way I feel like. Some people might never wish that they were cis, and some people might be comfortable in their trans identity and feel that way and not have dysphoria about the things that I have dysphoria about. That's fine. People are allowed to feel the way that they want to feel. And that doesn't make anyone less trans or anything like that. But it just was a realization and something that I don't think I've heard talked about very much at all. And I don't want to end this video sounding like I'm depressed that I won't ever be cis, or that, you know, I'm upset about all these sorts of things, because I'm not. Really, at the end of the day, like, when I talk about the dysphoria, it's literally a pang, and then, like, a couple minutes later it's over. Like, it's not something that is keeping me up at night. And, you know, sometimes I do feel sad. Sometimes I do wish I'd be able to have biological children, and sometimes I do wish that I was able to be born with a, you know, a cis male body. A lot of the time, really. But that doesn't mean that I'm not happy with the body that I have now, and that I'm not happy with the decisions that I've made and the person that I am today. I am the person I am because of the experiences that I've had, and I wouldn't have been able to have those experiences if I was a cis person. But at the same time, the dysphoria is still there, and that is still something that, you know, sometimes I wish that medical transition could do more for me, that it could give me that. I don't really know where I'm going with this video. I hope I didn't come across as super negative. I just thought it was an interesting point to share. Let me know what you guys think about this. I want to know how other people feel about this. I don't want to come across as super Debbie Downer that, you know, no matter how much you transition, you're never going to be cis and you're never going to be comfortable with who you are. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that, you know, transitioning isn't some magic pill that just gives you the body that you want and desire. It makes you more comfortable, but it's not a magic pill. Anyway, I will see you guys later this week, and I'm just going to upload this late, and I'm sorry it's late, but I wanted to say something. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.